Picture this. You've saved for months for the perfect cruise vacation. You arrive at the port, bags packed, excitement building, then everything goes wrong. Last year alone, over 30 million people boarded cruise ships. But here's what the cruise lines don't want you to know. A significant number of those passengers made critical mistakes on embarkation day that derailed their entire vacation before it even started. And mistake number one? It's so devastating that some families have faced fines or missed their dream trip entirely. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. What you're about to discover are the 10 most dangerous embarkation day mistakes that can turn your dream vacation into a nightmare. These aren't just minor inconveniences. We're talking about missed sailings, logistical disasters, and financial hits that cost thousands of dollars. Stay with us because mistake number 1 will hit you hard. Mistake 10. Arriving at the port at the wrong time. Let's start with a mistake that seems harmless, but can destroy your entire cruise experience before you even step foot on the ship. The cruise terminal at Miami, 8 in the morning. Hundreds of eager passengers line up outside, some having arrived at dawn. They think they're being smart, getting there early. They're wrong. Meanwhile, across town, another family is frantically throwing clothes into suitcases. Their flight was delayed. Their boarding window closes in 2 hours. They have no idea what's waiting for them. Both groups are about to learn the same harsh lesson. Cruise lines assign specific boarding windows for a reason. Show up too early, and you'll spend hours in crowded terminals with nowhere to sit, no food, and restrooms that quickly become overwhelmed. Children get cranky, parents get stressed. The vacation spirit dies before it begins. But arriving late? That's where real disaster strikes. Thousands of passengers miss their ships annually due to late arrivals. Flight delays, traffic jams, last-minute emergencies. The ships don't wait. Once those massive engines fire up and the gangway retracts, you're watching your vacation sail away without you. The financial impact is staggering. Rebooking flights to the next port can cost $2,000 to $3,000 per person. Hotel stays, meals, transportation. One delayed flight can turn a $4,000 vacation into an $8,000 nightmare. The smart move: arrive the day before. Book a hotel near the port. Aim for your assigned boarding window, typically between 11 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Early boarders get first dibs on exploring the ship, plus the best dining reservations and spa appointments. But even if you nail the timing, there's another mistake that catches 90% of first-time cruisers off guard. Mistake 9. Skipping online check-in. The year is 2025, digital everything. Yet countless passengers still show up at cruise terminals with paper documents expecting to check in the old-fashioned way. They're in for a rude awakening. Post-pandemic cruise operations have transformed completely. Online check-in isn't just recommended anymore. On most major lines like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian, it's practically mandatory, including immigration documents and health forms. Here's what happens when you skip it. While smart passengers breeze through security in minutes, you're stuck in a separate line, a much longer line, with overwhelmed staff trying to process documents that should have been handled weeks ago. The process that should take 5 minutes now takes 2 hours. Your kids are melting down. Your spouse is shooting you looks that could sink the ship, and you haven't even boarded yet. But the real kicker? In 2025, stricter verification rules mean incomplete digital check-ins can actually prevent boarding entirely. Immigration details, health declarations, emergency contacts. Miss one item, and you could be denied access to your own vacation. The cruise app isn't just convenient, it's essential. Complete your online check-in 2 to 4 weeks before departure. Upload all documents. Verify everything twice. The few minutes you spend at home can save you hours of frustration at the port. Royal Caribbean's app alone processed over 12 million check-ins in 2024. The passengers who used it reported 70% faster boarding times compared to those who didn't. But even with perfect digital preparation, there's a packing mistake that leaves passengers stranded without essentials for hours. Mistake 8. Packing the wrong carry-on. Imagine this scenario. You board your cruise ship, cabin key in hand, ready to change into vacation clothes and hit the pool. You get to your room and swipe your key card. The door opens to reveal nothing. No suitcases, no clothes, no medications, nothing but an empty cabin and a sinking feeling in your stomach. Your checked bags are somewhere in the bowels of the ship, and they won't arrive for 4 to 8 hours, maybe longer if the ship is full. This is where carry-on strategy becomes critical. But most passengers get it completely wrong. Some pack nothing at all, figuring they'll rough it until their bags arrive. Others go to the opposite extreme. dragging massive carry-ons that barely fit through narrow ship corridors and make navigating stairs a nightmare. Here's what seasoned cruisers know. Your carry-on should be small, light, and strategically packed. Think backpack, not rolling suitcase. Include absolute essentials only. Medications, obviously. A change of clothes in case your luggage gets lost entirely. Phone chargers, snacks for kids. Sunscreen if you're planning to hit the deck immediately. But here's the insider secret most people never learn. Pack your first day swimwear and one nice outfit in your carry-on. The pools and hot tubs are usually open and less crowded on embarkation day. And many ships offer specialty restaurants that require reservations, which early boarders can snag while others are waiting for their luggage. The biggest carry-on mistake? Overpacking non-essentials. You don't need 3 novels or a full toiletry kit. Focus on what you'll use in the first 8 hours. You're on a cruise ship, not a survival expedition. Keep it simple and stay mobile. But speaking of technology, there's one app most cruisers completely ignore, and it costs them dearly. Mistake 7. Not downloading the cruise app. 2025 cruise ships aren't just floating hotels anymore. They're high-tech cities at sea. And like any modern city, you need the right tools to navigate them effectively. Enter the cruise app, Carnival Hub, Royal Caribbean's app, Norwegian's system. These aren't just digital brochures. They're your lifeline to everything happening on board, from reservations to real-time crowd tracking on lines like MSC. But here's where most passengers make a crucial error. They wait until they're on the ship to download and set up the app. Bad idea. Ship internet is notoriously slow and expensive. What should take 2 minutes on land can take 30 minutes at sea. Meanwhile, you're missing dinner reservations, show bookings, and activity signups that fill up within hours of departure. The smart passengers download the app at home. They create accounts, upload photos, sync their booking information. They arrive on board ready to hit the ground running. But the app does more than just reservations. In 2025, most cruise lines have moved safety briefings to digital platforms. The old days of mandatory muster drills with everyone crowding into life jacket stations, gone. Now it's watch a video on the app, scan a QR code at your muster station, done. Skip this step and you'll hear your name over the ship's PA system, repeatedly, with increasing urgency. Some lines have even implemented fines or denied boarding for passengers who don't complete digital safety requirements. The app also handles communication. Text other passengers in your group. Make dining reservations. Check show schedules, order room service. It's like having a personal cruise concierge in your pocket. Norwegian reported that passengers who used their app spent 25% less time waiting in lines and booked 30% more activities compared to those who relied on traditional methods. But even with the perfect app setup, there's a communication mistake that can cost you hundreds of dollars before you even leave port. Mistake 6. Leaving your phone off airplane mode. The ship hasn't even left port yet. You're posting photos on social media, texting family about your amazing cabin, video calling friends to show off the ocean view. Your phone is working perfectly. No problem, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. The moment that ship moves into international waters, your phone starts connecting to maritime cell towers. And those towers charge rates that would make loan sharks blush. $10 per minute for calls, $5 per text, data charges that can hit $50 per megabyte. Posts from Carnival passengers report phone bills exceeding $1,000 for a single week cruise. That's more than many people paid for their entire vacation. The mistake happens because cruise ship cell service feels normal. Your phone shows full bars. Calls connect immediately. There's no obvious warning that you're being charged international roaming rates that defy logic. The smart play? Switch to airplane mode immediately upon boarding. Not when the ship leaves port. Not when you remember. Immediately. Then connect to the ship's Wi-Fi for communication needs. Yes, ship internet costs money, but it's a fraction of roaming charges. Most lines offer packages ranging from $20 to $60 for the entire cruise. Compare that to $1,000 phone bills. For families, this mistake multiplies. Mom posts photos, dad checks emails, kids stream videos. Each device racks up charges independently. A family of 4 can easily generate phone bills exceeding their cruise fare. Use messaging apps like WhatsApp or iMessage over Wi-Fi. Make video calls through Skype or FaceTime. Leave the cellular radio off and keep your vacation budget intact. But money isn't the only thing at stake with poor embarkation day decisions. There's a dining mistake that can leave you hungry and frustrated for your entire cruise. Mistake 5, heading straight to the buffet embarkation day. Noon. The ship's buffet opens its doors and gets immediately slammed by a tidal wave of hungry passengers who haven't eaten since their early morning flights. The scene is chaos. Lines stretching the length of the deck, no available tables, food stations overwhelmed, staff struggling to keep up with demand, children crying, adults getting increasingly frustrated. Sound familiar? This is where most first-time cruisers make their lunch mistake. They assume the buffet is their only option for embarkation day dining. They couldn't be more wrong. While hundreds of passengers fight for mediocre buffet food and non-existent seating, smart cruisers are enjoying table service in nearly empty main dining rooms. The same food quality you'd get at dinner with actual waiters, comfortable seating, and civilized conversation. Many ships also offer specialty quick service options that remain virtually unknown to most passengers. Carnival's Pig and Anchor BBQ, Royal Caribbean's Park Cafe, Norwegian's Ocean's Pub. These venues serve higher quality food with shorter lines and better atmospheres. But here's the insider secret that changes everything. Main dining room lunch service on embarkation day often features special welcome menus with premium dishes not available later in the cruise. Executive chefs use embarkation day to showcase their skills for early boarders. The buffet strategy also impacts the rest of your cruise. Fight the crowds on day one and you're setting a precedent. You're training yourself to accept mediocre experiences and long waits. Start with table service dining and you'll naturally gravitate toward better options throughout your vacation. Restaurant reservation systems open to all passengers at the same time, but early boarders who skip the buffet chaos can make reservations in person while others are still standing in lunch lines. In 2025, pre-booking dining via apps is surging, helping cruisers avoid day one chaos entirely. Passengers who avoid the embarkation day buffet report 30% higher satisfaction scores with their overall dining experiences. But dining isn't the only area where timing matters. There's a safety requirement that most passengers handle completely wrong. Mistake 4, delaying the muster drill. The year 2020 brought revolutionary changes to cruise ship safety procedures. Gone are the mandatory group assemblies where hundreds of passengers crowded together wearing bright orange life jackets. Welcome to the digital age of cruise safety, but this modernization has created a new category of embarkation day mistakes. The new system seems simple. Watch a safety video on your phone, walk to your designated muster station, scan a QR code, done. Except most passengers treat it like homework they can do later. Big mistake. Here's what happens when you delay. First, the PA announcements start. Polite reminders about completing your safety requirements. Then they get more urgent. Then they start calling out cabin numbers specifically. Your cabin number. Norwegian Cruise Line introduced fines of up to $50 per person for passengers who don't complete muster requirements within designated time frames. Royal Caribbean has been known to delay access to certain areas for passengers who repeatedly ignore safety protocols. But the real problem isn't the fines. It's the stress and embarrassment of having your name announced ship-wide while you're trying to relax by the pool or enjoy your first tropical drink. The smart approach? Complete your muster drill within the first hour of boarding. The video takes 5 minutes. Walking to your station takes another 5 minutes. Scanning the QR code takes 30 seconds. Compare that to the alternative. Repeated announcements disrupting your vacation vibe. Public embarrassment. Potential fines. Possible delays in accessing ship areas on future cruises. But here's the advantage most passengers never consider. Early muster completion gives you unrestricted access to all ship areas immediately. Pools, restaurants, bars, entertainment venues. Everything opens up once your safety requirements are complete. Late muster completers find themselves facing crew enforcement or access delays until they comply. Imagine trying to grab that perfect sunset photo from the top deck, only to be turned away by crew members checking muster status. Passengers who complete muster drills within 2 hours of boarding report 40% less stress and significantly higher vacation satisfaction scores. But safety compliance is just the beginning. There's a human interaction mistake that affects your comfort for the entire cruise. Mistake 3. Ignoring your cabin steward. Embarkation day. Chaos extends far beyond passenger areas. Behind the scenes, cabin stewards are working overtime to prepare hundreds of rooms simultaneously while managing an endless stream of passenger requests and questions. Most passengers make the same mistake. They drop their carry-on bags in their cabin and disappear without acknowledging the person who will control their comfort for the next week. This is a costly oversight. Your cabin steward isn't just a housekeeper. They're your personal comfort coordinator, problem solver, and inside connection to ship operations. They control everything from extra towels and pillows to ice deliveries and room service timing. But embarkation day is their most stressful time. Hundreds of rooms to prepare, new passengers to meet, special requests to fulfill, equipment problems to solve. The passengers who make positive first impressions get remembered, the ones who don't become afterthoughts. Here's the smart approach. When you first enter your cabin, take 30 seconds to introduce yourself to your steward if they're present. Be friendly but brief. They're swamped, so don't monopolize their time, but let them know you appreciate their work. This small investment pays massive dividends. Stewards who feel respected go above and beyond. Extra chocolates on pillows. Faster response to requests. Priority attention when problems arise. Inside tips about the best times to use ship facilities. The mistake most passengers make is treating stewards like invisible service providers. They make demands without pleasantries. They complain about timing without understanding the workload. They assume service is automatic rather than earned. Experienced cruisers know better. They tip generously up front, not just at the end. They communicate clearly about preferences without being demanding. They understand that stewards juggle dozens of rooms simultaneously. The result? Cabin experiences that exceed expectations. Rooms that feel more like luxury suites. Service that anticipates needs before they're expressed. But room comfort is meaningless if you miss the bigger picture of ship exploration. There's a timing mistake that costs passengers the best photo opportunities and navigation knowledge for their entire cruise. Mistake 2. Not exploring the ship. Immediately your cabin won't be ready for hours. Your luggage hasn't arrived. The crowds are building at popular venues. Most passengers make the same mistake. They find a deck chair and wait. They're wasting the most valuable hours of their entire cruise. Embarkation Day afternoon represents a unique window of opportunity that never returns. The ship is operational but not yet crowded. Venues are open but not yet overwhelmed. Staff members have time to chat and provide insider information. This is when smart passengers become ship navigation experts. They locate all the key venues while they're empty. Main dining rooms, specialty restaurants, bars, entertainment venues, spa facilities, fitness centers. They take photos without crowds blocking views. They identify shortcuts between decks that will save time throughout the cruise. But navigation is just the beginning. Early exploration reveals secrets that most passengers never discover. Hidden decks with perfect sunset views. Quiet bars that never get crowded. Specialty food venues that aren't well advertised. Adult-only areas that provide peaceful retreats. With family cruising up 20% in 2025, early exploration also means securing kids' club spots before they fill up, a critical move for parents. The mistake most passengers make is assuming they have plenty of time to explore later. Wrong. Once the ship fills up and activities begin, exploration becomes a crowded, stressful experience. Finding venues becomes a navigation nightmare. Taking photos requires patience and luck. Early explorers also get first access to activity signups, spa appointments, and specialty dining reservations that book up quickly. While others are waiting for their luggage or fighting buffet lines, smart cruisers are securing the best experiences for their entire vacation. Ship photographers know this secret. They recommend Embarkation Day afternoon for the best photo opportunities. Empty promenades, pristine pool areas, unobstructed ocean views. These shots are impossible to capture once the ship reaches full capacity. The exploration strategy also pays safety dividends. Knowing ship layouts before emergencies arise can be life-saving. Understanding deck numbering systems, stairwell locations, and emergency exits provides peace of mind that enhances vacation enjoyment. But exploration time is limited. Once the ship reaches capacity and prepares for departure, there's one celebration that most passengers completely miss. Mistake 1. Missing the sail-away celebration. Here it is, the mistake that represents everything wrong with modern cruise embarkation strategies. The sail-away celebration. The moment when your floating city begins its journey to paradise. Live music, dancing, champagne toasts, and the emotional experience of watching land disappear behind you. On some ships like Virgin Voyages, it might be a smaller deck event, but the vibe is just as magical. Yet every single cruise, hundreds of passengers miss this magical moment. They're in their cabins unpacking. They're napping off travel fatigue. They're dealing with luggage or fighting crowds at interior venues. They're missing the soul of cruising. The sail away celebration isn't just entertainment. It's a psychological transition from land-based stress to ocean-based relaxation. It's community building with fellow passengers. It's the official beginning of your vacation mindset. But here's what makes this mistake particularly devastating. The sail away celebration only happens once per cruise. Miss it, and it's gone forever. You can't recreate the feeling of departure. You can't recapture the collective excitement of hundreds of passengers celebrating together. The irony is tragic. Passengers spend thousands of dollars and months of planning to experience cruise magic, then miss the most magical moment because they're handling mundane logistics that could wait. Smart passengers understand the priority hierarchy. Sail away celebration first, everything else second. They plan their embarkation day timeline around departure. They complete essential tasks early. They position themselves on deck with drinks in hand when the ship's horn sounds and the journey begins. The experience transforms their entire cruise mindset. Instead of treating the ship as a floating hotel, they embrace it as a community adventure. Instead of focusing on individual cabin concerns, they connect with the collective cruise experience. The mistake compounds throughout the cruise. Passengers who miss sail-away celebrations often miss other unique experiences too. They prioritize logistics over magic. They choose convenience over connection. They return home with comfortable vacations instead of transformational adventures. But the numbers tell the real story. Passengers who attend sail-away celebrations report 60% higher overall satisfaction scores compared to those who don't. They form more friendships, try more activities, and book future cruises at twice the rate. The sail-away celebration represents the heart of cruise culture. Miss it, and you're just staying in a floating hotel. Experience it, and you're joining a maritime tradition that transforms ordinary vacations into extraordinary adventure. Now here's something most cruise lines won't tell you about embarkation day mistakes. The psychological impact extends far beyond the cruise itself. Passengers who handle embarkation day poorly report lower vacation satisfaction scores that affect their travel confidence for years afterward. They become hesitant to try new experiences, skeptical of cruise recommendations, and less likely to invest in future adventures. But passengers who master embarkation day strategies, they become cruise evangelists. They book future sailings before their current cruise ends. They recommend cruising to friends and family. They upgrade to better cabins and longer itineraries. The difference isn't just money or logistics, it's mindset. Embarkation day success creates momentum that transforms ordinary travelers into cruise enthusiasts. So here's the question that determines your cruise future. Are you going to repeat the same mistakes that ruin vacations for millions of passengers every year? Or are you going to implement these strategies and join the ranks of cruise masters who extract maximum value from every sailing? These 10 embarkation day mistakes affect millions of cruise passengers annually. But now you have the insider knowledge that separates cruise masters from cruise disasters. The difference between a good cruise and a great cruise often comes down to the first day. Handle embarkation poorly, and you'll spend the rest of your vacation playing catch-up. Handle it like a pro, and you'll set the tone for an extraordinary adventure. Remember the key principles. Arrive at your assigned time with digital check-in complete. Pack smart carry-on essentials. Download and set up the cruise app at home. Switch to airplane mode immediately. Skip the embarkation day buffet chaos. Complete your muster drill quickly. Connect with your cabin steward. Explore the ship before crowds arrive. And never, ever miss the sail-away celebration. These strategies have been tested by millions of successful cruise passengers. They work on every cruise line, every ship size, and every itinerary type. The choice is yours. Continue making the same mistakes that frustrate passengers and waste money, or implement these proven strategies and transform your cruise experience forever. If you found these embarkation day secrets valuable, consider subscribing for more cruise insider knowledge. We cover everything from cabin selection strategies to shore excursion secrets that can save you thousands of dollars per cruise. And here's a special message for our most dedicated viewers. Type "smooth sailing" in the comments if you made it this far and plan to implement these embarkation day strategies on your next cruise. We read every comment and love hearing about your cruise success stories. Safe travels, and may your next embarkation day be everything you dreamed it could be.